Welcome to the CADPower version 21 demo. This is Rakesh Rao, and in this video I'm going to tell you about CADPower and how it can be useful for you. CADPower is a general purpose productivity tool that runs on BricsCAD as well as AutoCAD. It offers about 400 tools in different categories like polyline, conversion, export, draw, build, and so on. And these tools are all aimed to help you save time in your drafting. CADPower interface is organized as a pull-down menu which attaches at the end of your BricsCAD or AutoCAD menu, and it's also available as a ribbon here, and it's also available as toolbars which you can open from here. So you can use and open any of the toolbars here. So for example, this is the draw toolbar. Let us start with the text tools. This is one of our most common and popular tools, and it's called text counter or quick text. This is used to create a patterned text. So let's say I want to create a text called room number 100, 101, 102 and so on. So I'm going to choose the options. The prefix is room number and the starting value is 100, and I'm going to click. So you can see I have a text from 100 to 104, and wherever I place it the text appears. This is a very common requirement for all CAD users across industry domains, and CADPower helps to save time doing this. After you've created the series, often you need to edit the series. You need to add something in it or you need to delete something. So that's again simple. You just click insert in existing series. Let's say I want to add a new 102 after 101. So I'm just going to pick this here. So 101 becomes 102, and I'm going to select the remaining in the series, and it automatically gets updated to the new values. So in a similar manner, there is also delete from existing series. There is also update underlying object if present. See, very often you have the series done, but then you realize that instead of room number it should be parcel number, and instead of 100 maybe it should be 200. So again, that's simple. You just change the starting value and change the prefix. By the way, there's also a suffix, so you can say phase 1 for example. Then I say OK. Now, so as I pick on the text, you can see that the text updates to the new one. Next let us look at some polyline tool. Now this is a polyline, and I will show you how you can easily do part editing in CADPower. So under part editing, we have extract, copy, offset, stretch, mirror, rotate and reshape. For example, if I go to copy and move, I'm going to pick 2 points, and the part of the polyline in between those 2 points are extracted, and you can move them to a new location. For example, if I go to offset, let's say from this point to this point, offset this side, distance is 20. So if you're using normal CAD without CADPower, all this would have been a long tedious process involving copy, explode, p-edit, join, move and so on. And despite that, you may not get always the most predictable and accurate results. But here all of those commands have been packaged into this part editing, and it happens very quickly and very efficiently for you. So for example, I'll show you one more. This is the stretch command. So I just pick 2 points here, so that segment gets now stretched. So you will notice that the polyline stays as it is. The integrity of the polyline, the number of points and all those things remain as it is. It is just that you can pick a portion of the polyline and apply the editing that you require. The advantage of this command is that it allows the user to focus on the problem rather than on the CAD commands. So you don't need to worry about the list of commands that you need to use in order to get your work done. Next, let us look at some annotation tools. So I'm going to go back to annotation menu and click on label polyline segments. Text height is 5, precision is 2, outside segment. I want to start with distance labeling, so I click on this. Now you can see that for each of these sections there are several options. It's an extremely flexible tool which allows you to apply various options for your output. So I'm going to measure distance in slope, click OK, outside polyline, select this, apply. So now you can see that this polyline has been labeled and all the segment lengths have correctly appeared. So even the arc segment is labeled with its exact arc length. You can also do labeling with bearings, which is quite useful for all civil and surveying professionals. Even within bearing you have several options. So I'm going to choose this option, N, angle and E. And in order not to overlap, I'm just going to click inside. So I'm going to select the same polyline once again. So you can see that next to the distance there is now the bearing also. So this again is a huge time saver. So instead of painfully doing the distance and bearing annotation, you can just use this command to do it in one shot. There's also dimension option. So if you use the dimension option, you can do the dimensioning for the segments of the polyline very quickly. So next let us look at some file import tools. So I'm going to open this drawing here and I'm going to go to CADPower, export, import, export, points and lines. Now this is used to import CSV files. So I have a CSV file here which I'm going to bring in. Okay, so that is my CSV file, and if I go to edit, you can see that it will open the CSV file in this interface and show you how the CSV file looks. So by the look of it, I know that this is point number, easting, northing, elevation and description. So I'll choose the option format as PENZD. So PENZD is chosen as the option, and I'm going to import as point features, and I can go into options and set a lot of things. So I want to import this as a block, and I don't want to use descriptions as block name. So while I import it, I can put it inside a block, and there is a predefined block called GT survey point. So I can go to attributes and choose description attribute, point number and elevation as well. So all this allows me to bring in the data very efficiently into CAD. There's also an option to connect imported points and draw a polyline, and there's also an option to zoom to the points and so on. So I'll just leave them as it is. So it is doing the import now from the CSV file. Okay, so it is done. So you can see this is the result of importing that file. Now it has come as block, so if you just double click on it, you can see that the description, elevation and point number are here. So you can just have a look at the file. It is right here. So that's the file, the CSV file, which has now been imported in BricsCAD. Let's go back to this command and take a look at some of the other options. So in addition to import, we also have export. And both for import and export, we have both linear features and point features. Point features are points, blocks, text and so on. Linear feature means lines or polylines. So if you click on options, you will see that there are again a large number of options available to control the input and the output. You can link the incoming data as block attributes or as object data and so on. So there are a lot of options available. Let us look at some tools for polyline statistics. So if you come to the Polyline Tools under Inquiry and Statistics, there's something called as Compute Detailed Polyline Statistics. So if I click on this, I get this dialog box where I can enter the parameters. So I want to create a statistics file, which is here. I'm going to put it on my F drive. Now I'll say OK. So select polyline. So this is a polyline with a lot of arc segments. So I'm going to use this, and it creates a table here. You can change the scale factor of the table as you like. So if you zoom in now, you can see that there's a x coordinate, y coordinate, segment length, radius, included angle, direction, and the bearing information. So this is a very useful tool to get one snapshot of the polyline statistics and also capture it in the table, and you can also capture it as a CSV file, that is the output, which you can then simply double click and open in Excel. So all the CADPower commands are designed in such a way that the output can easily be transferred to Excel. So most of the outputs are in CSV format, which makes it very easy to go to Excel. In this manner, there are a lot of other categories and commands in CADPower which help you to do your work faster. Now I will also quickly tell you about the BricsCAD Plus menu. The BricsCAD Plus is a migration menu and it is intended for AutoCAD users to make the switch to BricsCAD. The BricsCAD Plus menu provides you with a number of tools and features that are nearly identical to how you see it in AutoCAD. Things like layer controls, pan, zoom options, 3D views, point style dialog are covered in exactly the same way how you see it in AutoCAD. At the end, we also have a section called freeware by CADPower. Now it's called freeware because these tools under the freeware section, they never expire in CAD. So the freeware tools are a selection of tools from Express Tools which make it again easier for the AutoCAD user to migrate to BricsCAD. Things like nested copy, the filter selection, change case, text orientation command, text mask, burst, B count, T count, and so on. At the bottom of the BricsCAD Plus menu, there's also an option called support. So under support, you have drawing settings. The drawing settings menu allow you to access BricsCAD settings in a frequently used dashboard, and this helps you to make your selections faster. Now for a first time user who comes from AutoCAD to BricsCAD, it's often difficult for them to know where exactly the settings are. So the BricsCAD menu support settings make it easier. Things like drafting aids, pick box, aperture, and so on, right click customization, middle button pan, and then move back file on save, that is for creating your backups, and then your drawing units, insertion units, save formats, clipboard format, startup options. So all those information are available in one single dashboard like window here. Now this is the result of our experience working with a lot of BricsCAD users, and for their convenience we have made it available in this command in CADPower. Now let us quickly browse through the other sections in CADPower. We may not have the time now to cover all the tools in this demo, but I will just take you through some of them. So under Polyline Tools, you can see we have further categorized. There is a joint submenu, there is a change from 2D to 3D and vice versa. There's a vertex management tool, there's a part editing which you've already seen, there's statistics and inquiry, there's more editing, flip, and so on. Say for example, you go to vertex management and you can see delete vertex. This allows you a single pick delete. Insert vertex is again an innovative way to insert vertices in Polyline. Multiple vertex editor. So if you go here, you can see there are different ways in which you can select a few vertices of polylines and edit them. So this is interesting. I'm going to just show you a quick demo on this one. So let us say you have a polyline, something like this. Now in this polyline, I just want to play around with the top 3 vertices and see how the polyline looks like and behaves when you move them in a particular direction. So we go to vertex management, multiple vertex editor, and I'm going to say move in the X direction. Movement type, I will say move dynamic general. Dynamic move by say 2 units each time. Select the polyline, then I have to select the points. So I'm going to select first point, second point, and third point. So these 3 points I want to move. Now you can see that as I press enter, the 3 vertices are moving in the X direction, and as they move in the X direction, if you notice here, there is a report which tells you how much the area and perimeter is changing. So initial area, initial perimeter, new area, new perimeter. So you can use this as a simulation tool to study how your object will behave when certain points are moved in a particular direction. So the direction can be X, Y, or XY or XYZ, whatever. All the options are possible. At the bottom there is also something called as reverse. So if I say reverse, you can see it starts going back. So again, if I press R, it goes front. So these are the 2 options it allows you from the command line. If you want more options like more sophisticated movements, there is something called as move dynamic custom. So here I'm going to say again 2 as a movement, and I'm going to select the polyline. Let's say pick these 2 points. So in move dynamic custom, only the 2 points are picked, and I can move the polyline either towards each other, away from each other, and so on. So if I say towards each other, you can see that those 2 are moving towards each other. So if I say reverse, it moves away from each other. So that is the use for the multiple vertex editor. Very useful command, especially for those who are in this kind of work where they need to work with polygonal shapes. Now you may ask, for whom is this useful? I would say that this is useful to many different industry segments. If you are in the architecture or buildings design profession, this is useful to play around with the building outline and study how the area changes, how the perimeter changes when you move one side or one edge of the building. If you are in surveying or if you are in civil design, this is useful for you to see how much movement of a side of a plot or a road will affect the adjoining plot. So the uses are multiple, and it's only your imagination which can help you to find out how you can utilize this command. Under draw we have again different sections like geometry, CAD objects, symbology, rule based, and there are a lot of tools here which you'll find very useful. So one of the important tools that I would highlight here is construction grid. So construction grid is used to create a construction reference grid which can be used for any kind of design, and you can do both vertical as well as both rectangular as well as circular grids using the construction grid command. Another section in CADPower which is very useful is the BOM BOQ tools. BOM stands for bill of materials and BOQ stands for bill of quantities. Now this is a vast section and there are separate videos which explain how this section works, but in a nutshell, this is used to create quantities. This is used to find quantities from your drawing. If you have blocks which are named correctly, you can use this command to create quantities which can come out as tables, and then you can export them to Excel as well. You can learn more about this in a separate video. Other than this, we have several drawing management commands. For example, if you go to the blocks section, you will find that there are over 2 dozen commands just for blocks and blocks editing. In a similar manner, there are equal number of commands for attributes and attribute management. How to edit attributes, multiple data entry, transferring attributes, at in, at out, reorder the attributes, and so on. Under text, again, there are some subcategories. There is creation. We have already seen quick text, and you can see some of the captions here. There is also editing for text. You can export text into ASCII editor like Notepad, or and then you can have it edited and brought it back. So there are a lot of commands which are available. Again, it is your imagination which will help you to find out how you can use this command. Our request to CADPower users is that if you find yourself doing something repetitive again and again, just stop there and let us know what it is, and we will suggest and advise you the correct CADPower command to use, or maybe sometimes a combination of commands to help you finish those tasks in a faster manner. CADPower is quite extensive and it is difficult for a first time users to understand and find out where the commands are. So we have done our bit to make it as easy as possible to find those commands. Say for example, we have a command under more options called search GeoTools CADPower commands. So if you go here in this interface, you can search for something. Say let's say I want to search for layer, anything relating to layer I want to search. So I say I type layer here, search in CADPower GeoTools or both. I want to search only in CADPower. Find where, command names, description, or both. Now when I clicked OK, you can see that it has given me a listing of all the commands where the name layer appears. So using this I can go and check out each one of these commands and see if it's useful for me. So I would advise you strongly to use this feature, search GeoTools CADPower commands, and this will help you to know where the commands are and what they do. At this point, I think I'm going to stop this demo because it's a good introduction to the mission and vision of CADPower and what it can do. and I want you can download the 30-day trial and try it out, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.